Students, it is the second video about the communication and the communication skills. In the previous video, we covered the definition of communication, that communication is a systematic, purposeful interaction of the human beings or two individuals to share their ideas, views, problems, and issues through a shared medium. Aristotle gave the, the simplest model of communication: speaker, message, and the respondent or the listener. And we also recalled the names of verbal communication, non-verbal communication, emotional awareness, written communication. Fine. In this video, we are going to cover the two forms of communication: listening and verbal communication, plus the non-verbal communication. Well, listening is the very important and the basic medium or element of the communication. Why? Because listening is not simply hearing, simply recording. Listening actually is the purposeful receiving of information, data, concepts from the sender or from the encoder. Fine. And then processing this message and data or information or symbol, clear, and then assessing, responding accordingly. Fine. Thereby, listening is very important thing because it comprehends the sounds and it works. Actually, all the words and symbols and ideas do have an arbitrary relationship between the physical world and the world in the mind. Clear? Whatever the sound, words, sentences, ideas we listen, they make a picture in our mind. Our mind means that motor activity assesses that in the simplest form is called semantics, and later on responds. Let's see, if a person, for example, students are sitting and they have everybody put headphones in their ears, whereas the teacher is speaking loudly and sharing very good ideas. Well, do you think that they will have understood the lesson, understood that discussion? Obviously not. Why? Because they have closed their receptors, or they have engaged that receptor of listening, receiver or receptor of the listening, to another activity. Thereby, the idea is not the concept, the sound of the teacher is not making the right way into their mind. Thereby, they have actually not listened. However, they are physically present there. Thereby, listening is very important thing. Clear? One person said that the successful person are those who speak less and listen more. Fine. So make it a habit and try to develop it. Let's read it. This may come as a surprise, but oftentimes listening is the most important part of the communicating. Listening is not the same as simply hearing. When you listen to someone, you are engaged with him and making an effort to understand exactly what they are trying to say. Listening is a crucial skill in the workplace. When people do not listen to each other, the entire communication process breaks down. In order to be an effective communicator, you must first learn to be a good listener. It is important to note that there is a difference between simply hearing and listening. Fine. In this way, it is very important point being emphasized here that to gain success in a workplace, you have to listen to your boss. You have to attend the meetings there, you have to make listening. And there is difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is something that you are walking on a street or going through a busy road, and there are horns and people crying and babies crying, and means these are simply hearing, mean the sounds are stucking into your receptor ear, and you are not attending. But at the same time, if someone calls your name and asks you come here, and you identify, you find a friend over there, and now you are more attentive. Now you focus on and you try to listen to each and every word. Clear? This is what listening is necessary. The one who has not a good ear, he is not a good employee. Fine. Let's hear. They have shared some of the views about good listening. Number one, focus on the person speaking. That avoid distractions, focus on the person speaking, listen to his concept, what he's trying to convey, observe his emotions. Second, make sure understand. Clear? Make sure you understand. Clear? Sometimes people become shy, they are not understanding, but they remain, they pose as if they have understood, but later on when they are asked, they remain confused. Thereby, you must listen for clarification. If you have, for there are different modes. If you are sitting at the back bench, you should go closer. If some noise is being made, you should ask them to stop. Fine. If you can use some electronic gadget to enhance your listening, you should do that. Second, wait for your turn to speak. Clear? Avoid interrupting or cutting others off when you have something to say. Fine. First, listen, find your time, then start speaking, so that the other people may all calm down, and they could be they should be able to listen you. Show interest. Clear? It is very important that we do not listen to what we don't have interest in. Thereby, we must listen, show interest. Clear? The student mostly suffer when they are boring, when they have their mind is hijacked by another thought, they lose their interest in the lesson, and then it happens that they have to sit 1 hour or 1 hour 20 minutes, but all the time they are not listening even a single word, and nothing a concept can forge and retained in their mind because of being mentally absent. And the reason behind is very obvious and simple, is that they have lost their interest. Second is, repeat what was said in your own words. This is wonderful thing, that once you have listened, obviously your mind cannot retain each and every word. Clear? Once you listen, the very next moment your mind start deleting those concepts. It simply can retain a few concepts with you. Thereby, it is much better once the debate, discussion, lecture is over, you should recall, make a monologue with you, recall the main concepts. You can share these concepts with your other fellows. Clear? You also can recall those concepts by, if you have taken hints and notes. This is very handy one. Listening is the first very important topic that may help you in promoting your communication skills. Well, the next is verbal communication. Verbal communication means communication through language, through words. Clear? There are two kinds, oral and written. All the speaking is oral communication. For example, this time, this moment, I'm speaking. This is a verbal communication, but it's oral. Fine. and this is appearing on your screen. If verbal communication was really as simple, this is called written communication. Everything that is printed is called written communication. Fine. Well, for the oral communication, one should have the following points clearly in the mind. Speak clearly. Clear. Speak loud. Speak clear. You should be audible. Pitch and sound should be properly covered. Choose your words carefully. Selection of words makes matter a lot. Clear? According to the nature of subject matters, your tone, intention, audience, we select the words. Especially when you are working on at the workplace, you should be very careful. Use the appropriate tone. Clear? Your tone matters a lot. For example, if you are speaking, you are addressing to your juniors, you should be different. While talking to the students and convincing them to solve the assignment and coming the class regularly, your tone matters a lot. And similarly, when you are speaking to your uh, colleague who has just lost something, rather than helping out, if your tone is sarcastic and joking and kidding, it won't be better one. It results in sometimes tension. Consider your audience all the time when you are talking. Give respect to your audience. Fine, and respond appropriately during discussion. If some person reacts on your discussion and retorts you or asks a question, makes a query, you must be positive and express respectively. Thank you very much. Hope you have understood.